welcome you to the session on how Gen AI optimizes supply chain decision making. So there are various AI IT tools available which help us to design, create, and structure our supply chain with better visibility, transparency, enabling real-time decision making in the dynamic scenario. I am Professor Jitesh Thakkar, Dean Academics and Professor Logistics and Supply Chain Management at Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya, Central University, India's first and only university in transportation and logistics sector. You can see on the right hand side my textbook on mastering logistics and supply chain management. It is published by me and Professor S.D. Deshmukh, IIT Delhi, and this book helps the reader to appreciate various nuances of supply chain management and how you can operate with some of the critical levers like inventory, transportation, facility, pricing, sourcing, information technology to optimize your supply chain. So let us go ahead with this brief on topic. And my profile includes my research teaching in the domain of operations management, logistics and supply chain management, transportation management, rail operations, safety and reliability, project management, service operations management, Lean Six Sigma, quality, optimization and statistical modeling, and system dynamics. I have published research in the leading international journals, International Journal of Production Economics, International Journal of Operations and Production Management, Transportation Research Part D, International Journal of Production Research, Transportation Policy, Computers and Industrial Engineering, Expert System with Application, Electronics, Commerce, Research and Applications, and so on. I have published 5 textbooks: Structural Equation Modeling with Springer, Project Management with Springer, Multi-Criteria Decision Making with Springer, Mastering Logistics and Supply Chain Management with Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya Publisher, and Service Analytics and Management with Cambridge Publisher. You can scan the QR code on the left side. Typically, this is my YouTube channel, Professor Dr. Jitesh Thakkar. And this channel shares the intellectual content benefiting students, faculty, and industry professionals. You can see my research by scanning my Google Scholar QR code on the right side, and you can connect with me on LinkedIn by scanning the QR code of LinkedIn on right side. So Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya is a university with a very clear vision, innovation-led, industry-driven university to strengthen the ecosystem of transportation and logistics sector. Government of India has created this unique university to strengthen the ecosystem of transportation and logistics sector in all 3 dimensions: technology, that is infrastructure; management, that is services and policy; regulation, to enable the academic programs and operations at the university in a more effective manner in line with the international practices. University has entered into strategic collaborations, both domestic and international level, with prestigious organizations such as St. Petersburg State University, Transport University Russia, Monash University Australia, JTTRI, Lucchini RSPA Italy, Indian Defense Forces, Army, Air Force, Navy, Airbus, Jacobs, Nokia, Plaza India, LNG, Nippon Koi, and many others. University offers academic programs both for regular students and for working professionals. For regular students, the programs are offered at the BTech in Civil Engineering, BTech in Electronics and Communication Engineering, BTech in Mechanical Engineering, and all these programs are with specialization in railway or transportation domain. MBA Logistics and Supply Chain Management, MBA in Ports and Shipping Logistics, and university offers many programs in the hybrid mode for the working professionals like MTech Intelligent Transport System, MTech Railway Engineering, MTech Bridge and Tunnel Engineering, MTech Roads and Highway Engineering, MBA Logistics and Supply Chain Management, MBA Metro Rail Management, MBA Multimodal Transportation, MBA Aviation Operations Management, PhD Engineering, PhD Management with a special focus on transportation and logistics sector. You can visit the suggested links to check the program details. The curriculums are placed at the university website, and you can understand the unique value propositions offered by the academic programs at Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya. So let us get into the topic, and before that, let us appreciate the ever evolving domain of supply chain science, which is a data driven approach based on mathematical models, optimization techniques, and artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms, typically to ensure that the complex supply chain and dynamic environments are addressed with scientific analysis, data driven decision making, and it should not be based on intuitions. So we do manage supply chain science with a focus on mathematical modeling, data analytics, and machine learning, inventory theory, and stochastic modeling with four very clear objectives. One is cost reduction, second is improved service levels, third is enhanced resilience, and fourth is competitive advantage. So let us see how Gen AI optimizes supply chain decision making and how this enabling platform really helps today's supply chain managers. So Gen AI in supply chain, generative AI, typically we call it, is a type of artificial intelligence that can create new unique content such as text, images, or data by learning from existing data. It moves beyond traditional AI's ability to analyze and predict to actively engaging solutions, plans, and insights. And this enables a more proactive and creative approach to solving complex real world supply chain problems. If we look at the key differences, then it lies in its ability to generate solutions rather than just identifying the patterns. So traditionally, AI was more into identifying the patterns, revealing the structure, but generative AI helps you even to generate the solutions. So traditional AI might forecast demand. Gen AI, generative AI, should use that forecast to create multiple optimized supply chain plans, each with a detailed explanation of its pros and cons, like what a human planner would do. So this is an extraordinary capability with Gen AI, generative AI, and that is where it is helping the supply chain manager extensively, enabling them to take the real-time decisions for the complex situation in a more rational and realistic manner. So if you look at the importance of Gen AI, then certainly it improves the decision making. Gen AI can act as a strategic co-pilot. And if I want to investigate what is the impact of my inventory, if a port closes, and the Gen AI will not only provide a summary, but also generate few potential scenarios mitigating strategies. Second, it enhances resilience. So it simulates thousands of what if scenario from geopolitical events to natural disaster. And by generating these scenarios, it helps to analyze the complex model, and business can identify vulnerability and develop robust contingency plan before a disruption can occur. Number three, increased efficiency and automation. Gen AI can automate a wide range of tasks that were previously too complex for traditional automation, and it can generate purchase orders, contracts, draft emails to suppliers, even optimize logistic routes in real time, considering traffic, weather, and host of other factors. to generate the most efficient path. Accelerated innovation is one of the core competence of Gen AI, and it can rapidly prototype new products, design by generating new concepts based on a set of criteria, and this can be applied to product packaging, part design, or even warehouse layout, significantly reducing the time and cost of the inventory cycle. So there are various practical applications of Gen AI in SCM, and one of them is demand forecasting. So Gen AI models can rapidly create highly accurate demand forecast by analyzing historical sales data. It can consider the various factors like market trends, economic indicators, social media chatter. So fetching the data from different platforms, it can really contribute towards accurate forecasting and inventory management. Supplier risk management by scraping and analyzing news, financial reports, social media, Gen AI system can generate real-time risk profile for the suppliers. You can classify them into gray zone, black zone, green zone, and you can identify the associated risk, and hence you can improvise your contracts with the suppliers, or you can look for the alternative suppliers. Conversational interfaces and digital assistance is another important feature of Gen AI. So Gen AI powered chatbots and voice assistants can serve as a digital concierge for supply chain teams. A manager can ask a simple question in natural language. For example, where is the shipment for supplier X? And the AI will provide a real-time answer by sifting through data from multiple systems. And typically, this extends to customer service, where a Gen AI can handle complex inquiries about order status and returns. We can also look at automated content and document generation, which is unique capability of Gen AI. It can automatically draft and refine various documents, from procurement contracts and RFQs, requests for quotations, to internal reports and standard operating procedures. And typically, this saves significant amount of time, administrative efforts, and ensures consistency across documentation. Let us look at the real life application of Gen AI for dynamic risk management and contingency planning for a global manufacturer. So, if we go a little deeper, then a global electronics manufacturer is operating across multiple continents. You can understand the scale and scope of the supply chain, the level of uncertainty, and the complexity involved. And it faces constant risk from geopolitical events, natural disasters, and supplier disruptions. So current process relies on manual reports, static contingency plans that are slow to update, and often it is complex cascading risk. And the objective is to use Gen AI to smoothen this function and create dynamic risk management system that can identify, analyze, generate proactive mitigation strategies in real time. So broadly, I can define the scope of the project like risk identification by monitoring the potential risk and coming from internal, external stakeholder and devising the appropriate strategy. Impact analysis, simulating the potential impact of disruption across the entire supply chain network. Contingency generation, creating and recommending new context-aware mitigation plans. Actionable insights, presenting these insights in a natural language. Interface for easy decision making by supply chain managers. And formulation and solution. So solution will be built around a core Gen AI model, such as a large language model, typically called it as LLM, integrated with various data streams and tools. So first is to create data ingestion and synthesis. So formulation stage, the Gen AI model will be fed a continuous stream of structured and unstructured data. When I say structured data, internal data, you can retrieve from the ERP system that will tell you about the inventory levels, order status, IoT sensors, fleet location, warehouse temperature. Unstructured data that may come from the external source or external data from news feeds or social media, sentiment analysis, weather forecast, geopolitical risk database, and so on. So broadly, the solution that I can think about at this stage is an automated pipeline is created to ingest this data. Gen AI's natural language processing capabilities are used to read news articles and social media posts, identifying relevant events, potential impact, and it can synthesize a series of tweets about a port closure and a news report on a geopolitical sanction and combine them into a single cohesive risk alert. The second stage in this real life case is to undertake dynamic scenario simulation. Once you have identified the risk, the potential impact, and you have fed your tool with the structured and unstructured data, now your Gen AI model will generate a variety of what if scenario based on the identified risks. And unlike your deterministic model, which only runs with a single simulation, Gen AI can imagine thousands of plausible outcomes and their ripple effects throughout the supply chain. So, what would be the magnifying effect or possible impact across supply chain? For example, if a supplier's factory in a high risk area, let us say, is affected by a flood, Gen AI does not calculate immediate delay. It also simulates the cascading effects, which other supplier are dependent on that factory, how much inventory is at risk, which transportation routes will be affected, and how different customer segments might react to product delay. So such an extensive analysis with the traditional approaches, the deterministic approaches absolutely is not possible. And that is something where your Gen AI has a very critical role to play. So Gen AI model is connected to digital twin of the company's supply chain network. And this uses the digital twin to run simulation of generated scenarios. It is just a parallel system you are creating. And this provides quantitative data on expected cost, lead time, service levels, and many other key performance indicators. The third stage in use of Gen AI for the case under consideration is proactive strategy generation. So once you have run the simulation, Gen AI model shifts from analysis to creative role and it generates specific actionable mitigation plans. So for example, just instead of say flagging a risk, it suggests shift 40% of production to an alternate supplier in Vietnam or maybe in Indonesia, reroute a specific shipment through the Suez Canal, and initiate a proactive communication plan to notify key customers about a potential 2-day delay. You just see such a great insight this tool can provide to help the businesses and the associated stakeholders to minimize the impact of potential risk on their businesses. So Gen AI is designed with user-friendly conversational interface. A manager can ask in plain English what is the impact of the new trade tariff on Europe shipments and what are my options. The system responds with a concise data-backed summary and a list of generated ranked recommendations. So there are set of recommendations and future scope. Number one, human in the loop. So while Gen AI can generate solution, human oversight is crucial. You cannot just adapt it. System should act as a co-pilot enabler, but human being must review, modify, as desired, and this builds trust and accountability in the system. Continuous learning is the second important dimension. Models should be designed to learn from every decision. We are living quite in a dynamic situation across the globe. Lot many things are happening, and when it fetches the data from social media or newspaper or any other content, then it should continuously update, learn, and the original recommendations what it has made should be modified or analyzed and modified. Third is integration with execution system. This is very important. You have created the recommendations, you have created the scenarios, but for maximum impact, systems should be able to integrate with companies' ERP or maybe TMS, transportation management system, to automatically execute approved plans. For example, you want to place a new order or updating a delivery route, then your Gen AI should very clearly direct your system, ERP or TMS, that now what is the modification required in terms of placing the order or delaying the order or placing it early. Ethical and data governance. So there is a need to establish a strong data governance framework. Models training data must be accurate, unbiased to prevent generation of flawed or discriminatory recommendations, because the way you train your model or the feed your structured and unstructured information, it will create the recommendations, generate the scenarios, and direct you and your system towards a new set of actions. So I hope this video would have provided you the idea about Gen AI, generative AI, and how it is extensively helping as a part of supply chain science to optimize supply chain planning and help the stakeholders to take data driven, scientific, informed decision at the right time. So Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya, India's first and only university with a focus on all modes of transport, rail, road, aviation, water, ports, and shipping, is operating with an academic portfolio at undergraduate, postgraduate, PhD, and executive training level to see that it can create an impact for the nation in terms of reducing its logistics cost from 14% to 8 to 9%. The university has a unique vision, innovation-led, industry-driven university, and has strategic collaborations with prestigious organizations both at national and international level. Thank you very much for your interest in understanding and appreciating generative AI for optimizing supply chain decisions.